Tonight on West Dakota Fox News at 9, we're hours away from another government shutdown. We'll show you the last-minute push to keep the lights on. Plus, North Dakota's blood bank is almost dry, and a harsh flu season could be the culprit. But first, a terrorizing threat rattles Mandan Middle School.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening. A 14-year-old Mandan Middle School student is accused of terrorizing after threatening a classmate with a gun. During that altercation, he said he had a gun in his backpack. Now, no weapon was ever found, but that student is now facing a serious consequence. Danielle Hurtado has more on this deep-seated issue surrounding gun violence.
With so many changes, taking a moment to talk to children about the importance of not making threats and what consequences they can face for making them is vital.
One step at a time, our communities have changed their habits because of social media and past incidents.
The idea that it's humorous or bold or fun to make any kind of a gun threat should never be tolerated and should be looked at as far as our educational topics.
No one was available to speak to us at Mandan Middle Wednesday, but their handbook says students aren't allowed to have guns and will be suspended if they do so. But there is no information about vocal threats made and the consequences.
I think more kids are taking it more serious. They hear something, they're more likely to report it now.
Kautzman says this is something she has talked to her kids about.
How to be a responsible citizen, how to be a responsible person as far as how you treat other people.
Mandan police say they always treat threats seriously.
They both agree talking to children about these things and the consequences associated with making these threats is vital.
Let's throw it over now to Henry, who has some chilling news for us.
Yeah, we've got snow underway coming up later on.
Thanks, Henry. Well, the cold certainly isn't helping public health. This year's flu season is shaping up to be one of the worst on record, and we haven't even hit peak season. Health officials are now saying the season, which typically wraps up by Easter, could run through May. So far, at least 53 children have died of the virus. They say this year's vaccination isn't compatible with the most common strain. Meantime, this flu season is taking an unexpected hit on state blood banks. The flu has been so prevalent and widespread, regular, dependable donors are now calling out sick. That means supply is low while demand is at an all-time high.
Penny Newmiller braved the cold to pitch in a pint.
Well, I try to get in here every 8 weeks.
Blood donation is more than a show of altruism for Penny. She's returning a life-saving favor.
When I was younger, I had to have surgery and I had to have a transfusion, so it's just my way of giving back.
Who receives the blood of these donors will be a mystery, but according to the blood bank, 30% go to patients battling cancer.
Premature babies, cancer patients, they utilize blood as well. That's why it's so important to make sure that we have our supply on hand that we need.
You should give it a try because you might save lives.
United Blood Services is the only blood provider to almost 70 hospitals across North Dakota. So on the off chance you ever need blood, chances are it'll come from here.
I always donate blood when they ever need it.
And this year, they need it more than ever.
Winter months are especially a challenge. You have, cold and flu season where folks aren't feeling well and healthy to donate, which that's been going around our area, quite a bit as of late.
If you're on the fence about a blood bank stick up your arm, frequent donors say the process is pretty painless.
I really don't pay attention when they put the needle in.
Donating whole blood takes about 10 minutes, and if you're donating platelets, it takes about an hour and a half.
So whether you want to be negative or be positive, blood donations are the lifeblood of our state.
The Dakota Access Pipeline has been operating for some time now, but the lawsuits surrounding its construction are still making their way down the legal pipeline. Today, the Center for Constitutional Rights and Earth First Journal asked a federal court to penalize the law firm representing DAPL companies. They say they're hitting Earth First with lawsuits meant to discourage free speech and political protest. The initial lawsuit filed by Kasowitz, Benson, Torres, and the Bismarck-based Vogel law firm claims Earth First funded a violent terrorist presence at the Standing Rock protest and exaggerated the environmental risks of the pipeline. In its filing countersuit, Earth First says the aim of the lawsuit is not to address the problems, but is actually just an attempt to scare away activists opposing pipeline construction. The presidents and the staff members of North Dakota's 11 colleges and universities met in Bismarck today with the Department of Homeland Security. The gathering focused on cybersecurity threats to higher education. More than 75 people representing the emergency management, cybersecurity, tribal colleges, and operational leadership of each institution took part. The leadership events will be hosted multiple times per year, focusing on risks specific to the participating institutions. That includes threat-based scenarios that test the strength and preparedness, response, and recovery capabilities. In political news, Representative Kevin Cramer is facing more challengers from within his party than from Democrats. Dwayne Hendrickson of Minot says he'll seek the Republican nomination for Cramer's seat. Hendrickson first ran for that seat in 2010 and ran for governor as an independent in 2008. We told you yesterday that Republican Tiffany Abentroth of Cummings is also running. And there's now a Libertarian candidate for Secretary of State. Roland Reimers announcing he'll be running for the seat held by Al Jaeger, who is running for re-election. Reimers ran 4 years ago as well. Others running include Will Gardner and Josh Boucher. In Washington, the clock is ticking closer to a government shutdown. If a budget deal isn't reached by tomorrow, it's lights out in Washington. Ellison Barber has the latest from Capitol Hill.
I'd love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of.
President Trump making an unexpected threat as lawmakers on Capitol Hill work to avoid another government shutdown. Trump is pushing for immigration reform and a border wall and wants a solution despite the impending budget deadline.
He's expecting Congress to deliver on the promises we made on the campaign that we would invest in border security.
On Tuesday, 245 House members voted in favor of a stopgap spending bill to fund the government through March 23rd. That number includes 17 Democrats. It funds the government at current levels for the next 6 weeks and increases money for the military through the end of the fiscal year. It does not, however, include a fix for DACA, the Obama-era program that protects immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Senate Democrats say the House bill is a non-starter in their chamber. It will most likely be rewritten and then sent back to the House. House Democrats already preparing for the possibility of voting again. They moved a policy conference set to take place this week in Maryland to the Capitol. In Washington, I'm Ellison Barber, Fox News.
To accommodate a growing enrollment, the Dickinson School District is reopening an old school. Berg, which has been a 6th grade building, will become a K through 4 school next fall, and the following school year it will expand to include 5th grade.
The New York.
We're going to be a lot closer to 90% full next year. We know that we have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of capacity.
Sullivan says the board has talked about expanding 3 to 4 years if the numbers continue to rise. North Dakota will be featured in the 2nd season of the culinary travel series State Plate. The show is hosted by former American Idol winner Taylor Hicks. Featured in this week's episode are Wishick, Buchanan, Devil's Lake, and Baldwin. They will be showcasing ways to use the state's staples in the kitchen, including honey, choke cherry, northern pike, barley, and sunflower.
I do. I love to cook, and I love to use, local foods, whether it's something that, that you grow locally or that you buy locally. It's just fun to be able to showcase, we grow so much of America's foods right here in North Dakota, so it's fun to experience those both in restaurants and when you travel across the state, but also to cook at home.
You can catch the full segment on INSP on Friday at 7 p.m. To find your channel number, go to insp.com/INSP-channel-finder. A store in Sterling is banking on trustworthy customers. That's because Bessie's Best relies on the honor system. They specialize in dairy, offering everything from pizza to their famous whole milk. The best part is you can stop and grab a jug anytime. All you do is slip the money into the container.
To put somebody here in the store just to, collect money or whatever, it doesn't pay for us. And the thing is, we do it 24 hours, mainly because there's people that get off work at nighttime.
The store does have a surveillance camera just in case people forget to pay for their products. Tomorrow, the Storrs Valley Animal Shelter, you can name your price and walk out with a new addition to your family. The shelter director says there have been about 70 cats right now, and he would like to see 50 of them leave the shelter tomorrow. All cats will be microchipped, dewormed, and have their first round of vaccinations. The event begins at 1 o'clock tomorrow and will wrap at 6. President Trump's request to the Pentagon for a military parade doesn't have everyone in Washington cheering. Reporter Jennifer Griffin has the story.
President Trump attended a French military parade in July as part of Bastille Day celebrations. He said later he loved it so much he wanted to repeat it in Washington, only bigger and better. Now the president has asked the Pentagon to start planning what the White House is calling a celebration of America's military, complete with tanks, artillery, and plenty of troops. The plan meeting with immediate disapproval among lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
I don't think we need to add additional expense. Our issue is we have a lot of military parades around the country.
It's not something we've done in America. I think our veterans parades is what we tend to emphasize.
Veterans and military experts say as commander-in-chief, if President Trump wants a parade, he'll get one. But many of the president's supporters are urging against it, saying the U.S. has traditionally shied away from these types of displays, not wanting to be compared to adversaries like Russia and North Korea, where military parades are common.
We train and we fight. And we bear the burdens all around the world. These other guys, they do a lot more parading than they do fighting.
But the White House says it's simply trying to find a way to honor the military and let all Americans show their appreciation.
The president is very proud of the United States military and all that they do on behalf of all of us, and we're simply exploring options.
The Pentagon says planning is still in the early stages, and there's no word on when the parade will be scheduled. In Washington, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
Also in Washington, White House Staffer Secretary Rob Porter resigns amid allegation of abuse from 2 of his ex-wives. Porter denied the allegations in a statement issued in the wake of his resignation. Porter has been dating White House Communications Director Hope Hicks, according to several people familiar with their relationship. Just north of Washington, tense moments for passengers after a plane skids off the runway at Baltimore Washington International Airport. There are no reports of any injuries, and everyone was safely taken off the plane and booked on other flights. The incident is now under investigation. This icy weather is wreaking havoc up the coast. Both directions of the Mario Cuomo Bridge in New York shut down today. Police say a multi-vehicle pileup stalled traffic for hours. The Los Angeles Times is now under local ownership. One of the richest men in LA has purchased the paper for $500 million. Biotech billionaire Patrick Soon-Shiong is the newest owner in a series of quick turnovers. Also in LA, police make a less than appetizing discovery. At first glance, it looks like one very large takeout order of burritos, but if you look closer, it's actually meth. Police say they found 14 meth burritos during a routine traffic stop. Along with the meth burritos, officers also finding a handgun and cash. Los Angeles police say the meth packages weighed more than 25 pounds. Time now to get a full check on our forecast with meteorologist Henry Blakes.
Hey.
Groundbreaking discovery has revealed the first modern settlers of Britain had dark skin and blue eyes. This after a full DNA test on Cheddar Man. He's a 10,000-year-old skeleton discovered over a century ago. It shows the prehistoric Brit had blue eyes, dark brown to black skin, and dark curly hair. The analysis shows the fair skin features most commonly associated with modern European is far more recent than previously thought. Over now to Henry. Henry, I know you're not trying to be mean, but this forecast looks cruel.
Yeah, I'm ready for summer to get here, but for now we have to deal with winter weather. We'll be waking up to snow across southwestern North Dakota, eastern Montana to start out your Thursday morning. Elsewhere, we will be dry for the moment. Might not going to be dry for tomorrow, but elsewhere, especially in the south and the west, we will be looking at chances of snow. Another round of Arctic air for Friday, but then the second half of the weekend and next week, we start to warm up just a bit.
This weather report is binary, but we'll see you tomorrow.